Hey there, B-Siders. Welcome to another episode of Bravo for the B-Side. This is Jim,
And this is Danny.
and we are here to talk about a movie again.
Fresh hot off the presses.
Yeah, sort of. We've been sort of in a sidewise fashion talking about this
Yes.
for a long time.
As of recording, we're still within the month that it was released.
Well, yeah, just a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
However, I was thinking about it. This is the first film that we've seen the rough cut, the pre-Golden Master, and then the final distribution cut.
Oh, we also saw the script, the original.
Right. But yeah, we haven't seen this many versions of a movie before.
I know.
So it's kind of cool. This is the first one from, and having watched it, there's not a lot of difference from the middle to this one, but just those little bits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just the little stuff. So it's cool. I mean, the process itself is super cool.
It is cool to see the evolution of a film.
Yeah. In as much as, seeing the evolution of a script as well.
Sure.
Because, there's been some that are like,
oh, yeah.
And we've been there.
Oh, yeah.
Wildly different than how it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, not a whole lot. What's going on?
Well, I heard that George Wendt passed away.
Yes, Norm from Cheers.
Mm-hmm.
Again, as every year goes on, these things keep happening. George has been around for a while. The character of Norm was very much loved in Cheers. And he's, he had other things going on, other films and stuff. Just a, really cool dude. Really cool dude. And, Cheers is one of those things I kind of, it's weird to say grew up with.
Sure.
Because it wasn't like my childhood. It was 90s.
When I was a kid, it was on reruns.
Right.
A lot.
Yeah.
But I never caught the full thread of the storyline of the show. I don't know if there was one.
It was a sitcom. There's no storyline.
Yeah.
It's just a ex-alcoholic baseball pitcher who runs a bar.
Sure. All right.
And, the great thing about Cheers, that's where we got Frasier.
Yeah.
Kelsey Grammer, guested on there and then was part-time and then became a fairly regular. And the reception to Frasier Crane was so good that they decided to spin it off. And that was a fucking knockout.
Oh, yeah. Frasier did awesome.
Because Kelsey Grammer, David Hyde Pierce, those two absolutely were fucking brothers. You believed it.
Oh, yeah.
On the screen, Yeah. A lot of good stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had, later on, we had Shelley Long pop in there. And of course she, did a whole bunch of stuff and was really great for in Frasier when he had his like existential crisis and all of his past loves and ex-wives and everything came to visit him. She was tops. Oh man. Anyway, trying to think of what else is going on. A lot of the stuff I've like glanced at, but nothing I really cared enough about to go on about. James Gunn's Superman is under threat of being delayed for release because the estate of one of the creators of Superman
is in flux.
They're suing.
Okay.
Well, so apparently, I don't know the specifics of it, but there is a copyright issue in handling the copyright. And I think it has to do with too much liberty and freedom outside of the Superman character. If you're going to use the name Superman, you can't keep fucking going way out. And some of these have gone way out. And I guess this isn't the first suit they've brought. And I can't blame them. Superman is an institution. We need to stop making the fucking films. When they booted Cavill, fuck them. I'm not interested in it. I'm not seeing this one. I don't care. I said it before. It looks like he's wearing his big brother's underoos pajamas,
Henry
right?
Cavill or bust.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. He was great in Man of Steel.
Yeah.
I think he wasn't super great. Nobody was super great in the Justice League films.
No.
Because those were just shit. And as an actor, you can only work with what you've been given, right? And they weren't given a lot.
No.
But I'm all for. I think we need a superhero moratorium. I don't want to see another fucking superhero on screen. And this is me saying this, right?
I am kind of tired of superhero movies. I'm just bored.
I'm tired of the takes. I'm tired of the modifications. I'm tired of, everything being fucking woke and PC and bullshit. I we're past it. Okay, the superheroes were who they were when they were, and if we want to deal with them, then they need to be who they were when they were, whenever. Um, I'm looking at Wolverine behind you. I think, other than Hugh Jackman not being 5 foot tall,
Mm-hmm.
that was a hard pill to swallow. But I rolled with it because you can't have everything perfect, right?
Sure.
In terms of this is the character and this and that. And he rocked it. I love him as Wolverine. I can't imagine anybody else doing it now.
The Cavalrine, though, is it's intriguing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But anyway. um
I would watch another. Okay, I don't want fresh takes on superhero movies. I'm bored by superhero movies. However, if you get a movie that is like ensemble superhero movie and Henry Cavill is playing every single superhero, I will watch it.
that would be interesting as hell.
Yeah.
Kind of a novelty thing, but yeah, I'd be on it. I don't know. I would like to here's what I would like to see happen. I mean, this is happening in the indie world because indie doesn't follow the Hollywood, stupidity. But I would like to see Hollywood take a gamble and just stop. If we've seen it or heard of it, don't fucking do it. Right?
Yeah,
I
they're
mean,
not going to do that though.
I know because we got Buffy coming up as a fucking reboot, and I don't know all this stuff. I'm watching Dune Prophecy, and I've 3 episodes in. I don't know if I'm going to continue.
Yeah, I was going to wait until you decided for sure one way or another.
Yeah, many thousands of years before Paul Atreides is born. I really don't care about these people. It's different with Andor,
Sure.
right? Andor was close to everything that we knew. So, there was Star Wars, and then there's all the other films, but really what made Star Wars come to life again was Rogue One,
Mm-hmm.
right? That little bit right before Star Wars kicks off, that was good. And everyone, who the fuck's Cassian Andor? Why don't we have a film about, or a series about him? Okay, that's on me.
Yeah.
And everybody else who poo-pooed it because.
Well, I mean, I was like, who?
I know. One of the best bits of television, period, in terms of a series. Forget that it's Star Wars, just in what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sick of seeing shit that I've already seen. How many more fucking Spider-Men do we need?
Last of Us is killing it.
Last of Us is killing it. And
although this last episode did feel video gamey to me.
Video gamey?
Yeah.
How?
So, when you're playing a video game, and it's sort of reflected in the show, the like almost arbitrary switching of things up, right?
Sure.
She's going out with Dina, then she's out on her own, and then Jesse shows up in the nick of time. And, I mean, it's fine.
Yeah,
I still enjoy watching it.
Yeah.
But it's funny watching it without having played Last of Us 2, which I do plan on playing.
Yeah, when we're done.
But without having played it, I can see the video game flavor of the show.
Sure.
I'm not saying it takes away from it.
No,
I'm just saying it's interesting.
Even in season 1.
Yeah.
But what was interesting then is we had played the game, then watched the show, so we knew it was coming and how the show had to, we've talked about it, they've had to make
Add
some
stuff
changes
and
and
change
stuff.
stuff and
Way better than the game.
oh yeah, the story of the first season was
Yeah.
oh
And I don't
what
know
a
how
gut
this
punch.
will compare, but I'm liking not knowing. I'm liking not knowing what's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we'll see when the game comes. Because maybe I'll expect something and then be like, oh, that happened in the show, but not here. Okay.
Yeah.
And dying a million fucking times
Yeah.
along the way. So, let's see. Can't think of really anything else. Don't have a date yet for our Talking Pondo, Making Pondo appearance.
Oh, we'll
'Cause
give it
it's,
to you when we know it.
yeah. And I can't wait. It's not that I, like listening to us, but it's like reliving a conversation because it was just so much fun.
The
You know.
conversations are really fun.
And we'll talk a little bit more about it a little bit later. But the movie that we're doing today, the creator, we're going to be working on getting him on here again
Yeah.
because so many stories to be told about this, and I have so many questions.
Mm-hmm.
Got anything more?
I do not.
Well, then why don't you tell us what we're getting into today?
Primal Games
Yeah.
is the name of the movie we are talking about today.
Mm-hmm.
It was released in May 2025
Yeah.
in the US. I think it might have been released earlier in
Right.
the UK.
Yeah.
Directed by David Ryan Keith. Written by David Ryan Keith.
Yes.
Starring Hanaj Bang Benz. Or Hannah Bang Benz. I don't know how to pronounce it.
We'll have to ask.
Yeah. Gary Casper, who I love.
Yeah.
And Mark Wood. We do not have a rating. Usually we don't.
No.
We do have a budget, which I believe Lorraine probably added to the IMDb page.
Probably.
Of $250K. Here is the logline. A newlywed couple sets off on the honeymoon of their dreams, only to become unwitting participants in a sadistic vacation experience. Trapped in a deadly game designed for the thrill-seeking elite, they must fight for survival and uncover the shocking truth about their existence before it's too late. In a world where nothing is as it seems, primal instincts are their only hope.
Yeah. That fits.
It does. The logline at the top of IMDb is just the first sentence of that short paragraph.
Oh, of course.
And I was like, I mean, I guess. And I scrolled down and I saw Lorraine's thought, and I was like, that's better.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there it is again. We've talked about it before. What's this movie about? Well, it depends on where you go look.
It does.
Real quick on that note. So yesterday posted the Welcome to Willits episode, live. And for Instagram, had to find a poster. And
there's a lot.
There's a lot, but finding one with Dolph to match what it was. And if you remember, folks, I don't know if I believe we mentioned it was also called Alien Hunter.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember either, but yeah, it's if you look it up on IMDb, it's, AKA also known as Alien Hunter. And they have a few posters for Alien Hunter, which are just Dolph. 100%.
Fucking yes.
But I didn't want to confuse things.
What a bait and switch.
I know. So I did find a Welcome to Willits with Dolph Lundgren. And then on the very bottom, the rest of the folks, just above the letters, Welcome to Willits. And then his name is the only one on the top.
Love it.
Just to kind of make the point that we did in the episode. Like, he's not even in this fucking thing, really. He's doing something completely.
He's not really part of the movie. He's just in it.
He has nothing to do with what they're doing, right? He's a dude on a cop show who's has some hallucinogenic interactions with the main dude.
Yeah.
But anyway. All right.
Fun fact about Primal Games.
Talk to me.
Shot in 18 days. This was a sprint.
Yes. And I remember, I wasn't sure it was 18 days, but I remember him saying it was
Yeah.
closed tight because locations.
And there was a storm going on in Scotland, a big storm at
Mhm,
the time.
and that's something we can talk about when we're through with the movie.
Yeah.
Is this whole thing. Indie film doesn't mean you have complete freedom and all the time in the world.
Right.
You're going to be somewhere, you got to be there at a certain time, and you got to book that time, right? Like if you're going to a particular like a mansion
Hmm.
that allows you, yeah, we'll let you film in here. You got to follow the rules and stuff, but you only have
3 days.
yep, this is it. And if you don't get it, you don't get it. And the thing with indie film is that budget doesn't allow for, oh, we'll just come back in a couple months and book another 3 days. Bullshit. Not in the pocketbook.
Nope. All right.
All right, should we talk about this bad boy?
Tell me. Bring us in.
All right. So we open with some shots over a forest. It's more drone work. And then we have a quick shot of a blonde woman walking. She's all bloodied. Then there's a guy in a truck, maybe a van, rather, driving. It's one of those weird European vehicles. Well, no, they're those weird ones. It's like, is it a van or a truck? Is it? I mean, it looks like a tiny van, but they use them as trucks and stuff, like utility things.
Like a
Anyway,
little work truck.
something weird. So anyway, it pulls into a dirt side road. Uh, then a man gets out of the truck and he's wearing a helmet with the face shield down. He sees the woman staggering through a field and he pulls a rifle out of a bag that he's carrying. And then we see from point of view, the helmet has a targeting system in it.
Like a HUD.
Yeah. And he aims, takes a shot, and he misses. She stops, slowly turns around, starts to turn around, and then walks. Second shot nicks her arm. She drops to her knees. She looks super exhausted. He goes towards her, and when he reaches her, he just unceremoniously shoots her. So then we cut to a blonde woman waking up suddenly from a nap in a camper, being driven by her new husband, we learn. And this woman looks exactly like the woman who was just shot a minute ago.
Yes.
So these two are driving in the woods, and I just put in here, there's so many drone shots, and they're all of them very David. It's so soothing.
It is.
Anyway, little fanboy there. I got lost in it. So later, they stop somewhere in the woods. They're looking at a beautiful pond. She shows her husband a picture that she brought of them from their first date, and he loves it. He says they're going to have to get going. They have a schedule to keep, got places to go. She responds, it's our honeymoon. And then she notices a patch of shirt.
Flannel.
Yeah, some kind of flannel on the ground, and she picks it up, and it has a blood stain on it.
Mm-hmm.
So didn't think anything of it. Driving again, they come to a road closed sign. She says they should try turning back. He says they're going off road. Looks like the same road we saw the little truck van thing turn on.
Mm-hmm.
And there it is. Flashers blinking. The husband decides to stop and offer help. And we can see the hood is up on the other vehicle. So the husband gets out, and there's a very tall man there, asks if they can help him. He says it's hard to find decent folk around. Everyone just drives by. And all he needs is a ride to the nearest town. And here's where we learn the husband's name is Ben.
Ben.
So the wife comes out to remind Ben that they are on a tight schedule. Maybe they could just call for help. Looking at Ben, the flannel shirt that he is wearing is the same pattern
As the
of the
flannel she
fabric
found.
that the wife found back at the other place.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Tall guy comes back. He's carrying the bag that the helmeted man was carrying.
It's a long, thin bag.
Yeah. Just about right for a rifle and
Something
some
like
paraphernalia. Yeah. So we learn that the tall guy, his name is Sean, and the wife is Sarah. Sarah is not a fan of offering Sean a ride. Sarah is giving Sean a wicked, wicked stink eye.
Yeah, and he's also like staring at her very creepy.
Uncomfortably.
Yeah.
Yeah. It, a couple times I wanted to make a comment, and I think I got something much later, but it's really difficult to pin down the nature of creepiness.
It is, yeah.
And Sean is being played by Gary Casper, and Gary is really good at playing pissed off, at playing psychotic looking, or just, I don't know if I want to be in the same room with this guy for some reason, right?
Yeah,
He has these great looks.
We've chatted with him before, and he's a lovely guy. But he could be so creepy.
Well,
So unnerving.
if that's what you need, here's the guy.
Yeah.
All right. So now they're driving along the dirt road, all in the RV. Sean says he comes up here a few times a year to get away from it all. Sarah asks if he comes up to hunt. He says he's mostly there for the scenery. And this is, Sean's very shifty and creepy. His answers weird and kind of looks like he's not fully engaged. Like he's somewhere else.
Like he's waiting.
Yeah. And at one point he checks his watch. Sarah asks if he has somewhere to be, and he just doesn't even answer. And then suddenly the camper starts to make a weird sound.
Mm-hmm.
Like the engine or transmission or both are crapping out. So Ben brings it to a stop. Sean tells Sarah it looks like he has the pleasure of her company for a little while longer. She is not thrilled.
No.
And I couldn't tell if she was just not thrilled because of him, the way he said it, both, probably all of the above. But
yeah,
you just, so I just want to break away for a second.
Sure.
So we did this as like the first time we saw it.
Yeah.
And we knew who everybody's names were.
Yeah.
Right. But we when we see something and we watch it again, we do it like this is the first time. I just want to say, having seen this multiple times and even doing this, I just really, again, Gary just made me want to leave the room. That the character of Sean is so off-putting that even this little bit in the beginning was difficult without like diving into some sort of rant or rage against this creepy fucking guy. But anyway.
There are, and I think this is probably true for everyone, there are people that you meet. If you've ever met a person who animals don't like.
Oh yeah.
I don't trust somebody that animals don't like.
I get it.
And it's one of those where you look at him and you spend a minute with him on screen and you go, animals don't like this guy.
My dog would not be about him. Okay, let's get back to this with this creepy Sean. So anyway, Sean gets out and looks under the hood. Says he's no mechanic, but it's not looking good. He thinks the nearest town is about 20 miles away. Sarah pulls Ben aside, tells him they cannot trust Sean, that somehow he made all of this happen. Something doesn't feel right. Ben says they should concentrate on just getting out of there. Sean says the gearbox is shot. There we go. Tells Ben he's got a signal on his phone where the others don't.
Right.
And that he already made the call. The tow truck is on the way. They just have to wait. Be an hour or so before it gets there.
Mm-hmm. So they decide to make the best of it while they wait. They, put up chairs and hang out for a little bit. Later, Sarah says it's been over 3 hours. What is taking so long? Ben, weirdly, is not suspicious at all of Sean.
Right.
Like, not even a tiny bit. So he tells her to come back to the RV and eat something because she's nowhere near it. She wants to be as far away from Sean as possible.
Right.
So they go back and Sean is making burgers over a fire because they have food in the RV.
Mm-hmm.
They're camping.
Yeah.
And as they're talking, Sean mentions that he's there hunting. And I'm like, oh, are you? Because earlier you said you're there for the scenery.
Well, mostly for the scenery. A little bit of a
And
qualifier.
his phone rings and he talks to what I think is his daughter for a little while.
Right.
Not, Sarah's like, what? How does he have a signal suddenly? And she is being just a straight bitch to this guy.
Yeah.
But to be fair, he's super fishy, as we have well established.
Yeah.
And he's talking about this, forest that they're in. And he's saying that he's addicted to this place. He just keeps coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So then he says to Ben that he wants to show him something, and he pulls out this giant, Bowie knife.
This thing is huge.
It's massive. It's ludicrous. It's like a Final Fantasy version.
I think it's
of a hunting knife.
I was going to say, I think it's a 1/4 inch short of being a full-on short sword.
I know.
I mean, the Romans got nothing on this fucking blade. Oh my God.
It's enormous. And Sean has this monologue about how the knife is, about holding the power of life and death in its hands, and, the power and how great that is. And he, has them each kind of hold it for a little bit. And then he just pulls out a gun and shoots Ben in the gut.
Yep.
What?
The line that he says before that, he looks at Ben, and, he's holding the knife, and he's like, you love touching that knife, don't you? Then you'll love this. And then, yeah, out of nowhere.
So he then attacks Sarah and tells Ben that he wants him to watch all this happen. He makes her reach into his pocket to pull out a zip tie, ties her hands behind her back. And then he goes, this is my favorite part. I haven't perfected it yet. And he knifes her in the back. Slow.
Yeah.
Trying to get her kidney.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the idea is he wants to have her have 45 minutes before she bleeds out.
Yeah.
Or something.
Well, yeah, he tells her she won't bleed out for 45 minutes. And then he's talking to Ben, saying that he's kicking himself for making him so stupid this time.
Yeah.
And he's making all these sort of weird comments to them, right? They all feel double-edged, but you don't know what the fuck is he talking about?
Right? Yeah, it's like he suddenly turns into one of those people who in the middle of a conversation is just off on some sidebar, and you're like, who else is here?
Well, yeah, he's reading from a different chapter of the book than the one they are in. And then he starts in on Ben for not protecting his wife. He goes to Sarah, starts raping her, choking her, taking selfies with her. It's not pretty.
No.
Ben manages to, get up because he hasn't been tied up or anything. He's just been shot.
Right.
But he gets a log and hits him, knocking him out, and then cuts Sarah free.
Mm-hmm.
So they head off as Sean is starting to come to. He didn't get knocked out for very long.
Right.
And he pulls out a mask, like the one that was in Sarah's dream. But it's malfunctioning because I think Ben hit it or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Something happened to it. And then Sarah and Ben are limping off. She stops off near a tree and she's telling Ben, I can't go. I'm dying. I'm actively dying. And as they're running, this weird buzzer sounds, through the woods, like a loudspeaker kind of deal.
Yeah.
They did manage to steal Sean's phone before they ran off.
Yes.
So Ben gives Sarah the phone and tells her to call the cops. And then while he is standing there, another Ben and another Sarah run by.
Yeah.
And they stop and look at each other. And they're like, that's weird.
And then they take off.
Yeah. And he turns to his Sarah, who is dead.
Yes.
And while he looks at her, she gets a shot through the head.
Mm-hmm.
And he turns and it's Sean firing at them. So Ben grabs the phone and just books it.
Yeah.
He gets a bit of a distance. And Sean is kind of calling after him, claiming he just wants to talk. I just want the phone back.
Yeah.
And Ben, despite actually being pretty stupid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cleverly doesn't buy this ruse.
I mean, it looked like it was a struggle.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a coin toss in there.
Yeah. So he runs, and Sean's shooting after him, chasing him, and then he tells Ben that he knows him better than he knows himself. And he's making these weird comments again. And the phone goes off, and it's telling Ben that the exit checkpoint will be available for 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Ben then comes across some hillbilly boys beating up yet another Ben.
Yeah.
One of these hillbilly boys is Liam.
Yes. Our good friend Liam Mathis, who is in all of David's films in one fashion or another, and it is another just absolutely lovely human being. You know, it's just so fun to see him on screen.
And Liam, I'll address you directly. Your hillbilly southern accent is passable. It's a little cartoonish, but it passes.
I mean, I think if we need,
It's a good job.
I think if we need to be fair, though, where in the South is it cartoonish? Maybe a couple places, but I've been in plenty of places where not only was it spot on, but a vast improvement over. You know, you get into the hills. Oh man.
That's true. I'm lucky in that my exposure to the southern accent has mostly been Georgia, which is the nicest of them.
Well, pretty much.
It's the most pleasant on the ears.
Yes, but also you were in civilization. I mean, the quote small town of, Warner Robins is an Air Force base.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big place.
Sure. That's true. I wasn't in rural Georgia.
The unincorporated burg of up in the hills behind the bush.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, they're saying all kinds of fun stuff about this place. Like, oh, we can fuck these things. You can do whatever you want.
They say you can fuck these things.
Oh, yeah. And one of them's like, that's pretty twisted, man. So that Ben that they're torturing dies. And the hillbillies leave. And Ben goes to look at dead Ben. Our Ben goes to look at dead Ben. Mm-hmm. This got a little confusing when writing. And I try to differentiate them. But there's a lot of Ben this, Sarah this, Ben. Anyway.
Sure.
So he takes a moment with dead Ben, and then he goes into the camper.
Mm-hmm.
And he dresses his gunshot wound with some duct tape. And then he discovers in dead Ben's pocket is the same photo that his Sarah gave him earlier that day.
From their first date.
Right.
Yep. Then the phone chimes again. It says, welcome back. Sean, thanks for choosing the Ben and Sarah experience. And then a menu comes up to customize Ben. He's fiddling with it, and then he knocks his intelligence up to full. Wham!
Mm-hmm.
You just see it in his face. I know stuff.
He downloaded some know-how.
Yeah. And then we hear gunshots. The two dudes from the hillbilly dudes are now with the third guy who says he has heard that, they can fuck these things. They've already covered that. And then one dude wants to eat the dead Ben.
They do use the word clone in this conversation.
Yeah, but I didn't get there just yet.
Sure.
And then I want to eat the dead Ben. Another guy says he's on board with fucking them, not eating them. And that's when the third guy comes back around and says he's not eating a fucking clone.
Right.
Right. So the one dude who I called Cannibal Dude goes back to the body. Ben upgrades his abilities. I'm not sure what the abilities are to full.
Agility.
Or was it agility?
Yeah.
I thought it was ability.
Nope. Agility.
Okay, well, quick glance at the screen then. Phone warns that it's set to dangerous level. Remember to set the safety protocol.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he didn't.
No.
Cannibal is having a hard time dragging the body. Ben goes up behind him and asks if he needs help. Cannibal tries to scare him. Ben just stands and stares, and then proceeds to just kick the shit out of Cannibal. Takes a shotgun from him. Cannibal cries, says it's just a game. Back to the other two dudes, and we hear that gunshot in the distance, and they're drinking some kind of booze. I figured maybe like moonshine or something. Then one gets up and calls out to Cannibal. Bam! His fucking head explodes just that quick.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ben comes storming up. He sees the other Sarah burned and tied to a tree. That was rough.
Yeah.
Uh,
Dismembered and burned.
Yeah. Asks the last dude what is going on. And he's told it's a vacation place. Tells Ben the guy tells Ben he's just a clone. In this place, you can do whatever you want to get the extreme experience. Ben makes him give him his ID card, and then the guy, this is so stupid. The guy's like, well, it's not going to work. They use fingerprint tech to get out. So Ben asks which hand and then cuts all the fingers off of that hand.
Yeah.
Right? And then asks which finger. So the guy could have saved himself a lot of agony. He was probably going to die, but here's my thing.
But just don't say that.
Right? If I know I'm in a situation, or if I knew,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really been in one, obviously, where I know the only outcome of this is I'm going to be dead, I would do everything I could to make it as quick and clean as possible. I would not do something to add chopping off all my fucking fingers with a fucking axe, right? It just, oh, God. Sometimes these people, it's almost like they die too quick.
Yeah.
You know, let the stupid rain a little bit more. But anyway, so takes the index finger, shoots the dude through the heart. There, problem solved. And then Sean is walking, comes up on the two other guys, pulling behind them yet another Ben and Sarah. He kills the men, takes a handgun, and then shoots on over to the other Ben and Sarah. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of Ben and Sarahs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of terrible situations going on with these fucking just weird people. This is something else. So we cut to another guy who's torturing yet another Ben. And then he's letting his kid target practice on him. And I mean kid, like the fucking kid's like 9.
It's David's son.
Yes. Well, if you even seen one picture of David and you never thought, does he have kids or not? There would be no walking away from the screen, not knowing that's David's little boy.
Yeah.
He looks so much like his father.
Just like him.
I mean, oh man. So oh God, where are we?
So the
kids target
practicing.
practice. Yep. And then another Sarah is being forced to watch this. The kid ends up hitting Ben and he dies, with a shot. The father pulls out a grenade and wants to try it on Sarah. And then his head explodes. Ben, who just comes up, takes the grenade, pulls the pin, gives it to the kid, telling him to hold tight. The kid takes off into the woods, right? The fourth Sarah is just baffled, like what the fuck is going on. And then we hear and see the grenade explode behind them into the woods. And I thought, oh my God, he did. He actually killed a kid. We didn't see it, but we know what happened.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Scratch one kid. Ben cuts the new Sarah loose. He hugs her. He tells her everything is going to be okay. If they don't keep moving, they'll end up dead. And then we cut to another Ben and Sarah. Our Ben is showing new Sarah what's going on by watching this other Ben and Sarah. The new ones are laughing. Ben explains it's a game. They're the show. He pulls out the phone, amps up new Sarah's intelligence, hands her the phone, saying everything she needs to know is on the device. Then we cut to men in black with helmets creeping through the woods.
Goons.
Yeah. Well, I could just call them soldiers because, security. It's one word.
I call them goons.
Goons?
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. So they're creeping through the woods. They're looking for the clones. We can hear from the radio chatter. And then we're back to Ben and Sarah. She's saying she's talking about how her whole life is fake. They briefly talk about how they don't remember renting the RV. They know they just got married. They know they're on their honeymoon, but
but he's like,
Ben's
how did we get here? Did we fly?
Yeah, I don't remember renting the RV. I don't remember how we got here with it. Did we drive it here from somewhere? Did we fly here and get it? What,
Yeah.
He's just trying to rationalize.
So yeah, she's like, so they must have planted memories.
Yeah. And then we hear a horn, and we cut quickly to Sean, who also hears the horn. And then we hear this echoing throughout this park, which is this vast, forest land, about the 2 dangerous clones. Deadly force is authorized.
Mm-hmm.
Ben and Sarah are watching the troops. Ben goes out behind them. Sarah puts her aggression up to 100.
Yeah.
And I just want to stop for a second. So at this point, I trust David in the writing.
Yeah.
Right? Always have. And plus we knew what was going on. But I was just thinking for the first time, watching this. The Ben and Sarah in the beginning. Well, this is still original Ben. That's what I end up calling him, original Ben.
OB.
Yeah, he's the one who's been doing it the most today. Anyway, he was so just forgiving and easygoing, and the whole thing with Sean didn't pick up on anything. And I remember when reading this and then trying to forget it and then watching it for the first time that this is it hits. It just really hits, the whole upping the abilities and stuff, and looking at the other Sarahs and stuff. And then the thing that Sean said, this is for me when it all started falling into place, Jesus Christ, they turn him into just barely able to, to move kind of thing. Right.
Yeah.
And, what would you do if you were one of these things and you had the wherewithal to figure it out to the last decimal, spot, what the fuck is going on?
Mm-hmm.
And how, what it would do to you to see yourself over and over again.
Right.
Anyway, just a lot of stuff that we can get into. But at this point, it's just everything is just getting super real. So she puts her aggression up to 100. Ben takes a soldier down, takes a gun. He's watching the others. One comes up behind him while he's doing that. And then Sarah swoops in and just plainly kicks his ass. I mean, there's not even a pause. And she is so good at this.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So we'll get more to that.
I mean, it's a commando style fight in the woods.
Yeah.
And we're cutting everywhere and it's really fun. I didn't feel the need to beat for beat.
Well, that's what I've got right here. So they fight their way through the soldiers. Sean is hearing all the gunfire and naturally he's going to it.
Right.
Right? Because it's oh, well, this is where the shit's happening. And at this point, Ben is just ruling what I could only describe as a carnival shooting gallery. He's just taking shit out. And this is a long sequence.
It is.
I abbreviated it like you. Lots of fighting with guns, fists, and feet. Not going to note it all, but we'll say it is awesome. Love the wire work with Sarah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then a drone bot comes in shooting. Ben blows it out of the sky.
Yeah. And then Ben and Sarah end up in this back-to-back shootout to kind of finish off the rest of the goons.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the classic, they're back-to-back. Everyone's in a circle around them, and they're just unloading.
Yep.
One of those.
Yeah, they got all their shit hopped up. I mean, they're like sixth sensing it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, after all the goons are dead, Ben and Sarah are discussing how to get out. Ben's got the route for the exit and the ID and everything he needs. And they see at the edge of the forest this big building and all these like billboards, flying stuff. And it's like the Ben and Sarah experience.
Yeah. With a picture of Ben and Sarah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they get to the exit, which is this like floating box thing. Ben scans the card, and then it starts in on the fingerprint identification when he gets called from behind, and it's Sean with a gun. Are you okay?
Yeah.
What?
Nothing.
Okay. So he tells Sarah to go to him, and she slowly walks towards him. She's suspicious, as she should be. I mean, he's got a gun on them.
Well, and I made a point to note, this Sarah hasn't met him yet.
No. But she says, I know you.
Right.
And he grabs her, kind of holds her in front of him, a shield-like almost, and gives a monologue about how, Ben fucked up and, he's a god in these woods. And then he's going to, kill them both and book a return trip so he can do it again. Essentially. Ben reminds him, because Ben, he's like, I'm going to kill this one in front of you too, and blah, blah, blah. And Ben reminds him gently that they've done some upgrades. Said, I think you're going to like my new wife. And Sarah just takes him down, basically. The headbutt in the back, and then some quick choreography to take him down. And then Ben goes behind him and takes his knife and stabs him in the kidney like he did to original Sarah.
Then he cut his junk off.
No. Did he?
Yeah.
I must have missed that whole bit. I thought he just stabbed him in the kidney.
Oh, he copied the, forgive me, I haven't quite perfected this one just yet. But then you'll see he's doing the back and forth thing behind him.
Yeah.
And then pulls out his junk. And so
I thought it was his kidney he pulled out.
No, it was his junk. And they throw it in the ground. Yeah, because Gary's holding his balls. You don't hold your balls when where his balls and shit were. And you can see there's blood.
Oh.
Right? And that's when they off him. Sarah goes, what a dick.
Yeah. She snaps his neck, turning his head all the way around.
Yep.
And then she's like, what a dick.
There you have it. The pun.
Yeah. Okay. I'm slow sometimes.
Well, we're watching, we're taking notes.
Yeah.
Little things don't always connect. I mean, there's a lot of times I'm like, what? You're like, yeah, he did the thing. I'm like, oh, well, I must have been busy writing this all down because I missed it.
So then they open the exit and step through. And they're in this building, kind of in like the basement, it looks like.
Yeah.
And there's like a TV, there's a screen with another Sarah advertising the different experience packages available and talking about how like nothing goes to waste. They have all these varying priced packages. So Ben and Sarah start fighting their way through the building. There are some goons.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit, because this one I also don't go through all the beat for beat of them fighting their way through the building. It's pretty classic action stuff.
Yeah.
There are some good hallway, shots. They're basically Last of Us-ing their way through this basement.
I'm not gonna lie. I drew that parallel,
Yeah,
and I kind of had the music.
sure.
Yeah.
At one point, a big dude wielding 2 machine guns comes. And well, practically, there's no way. It was fun. They find the players' lounge. Some more goons attack and they take them all down. They kill the players as well who are in the room.
But, well, my favorite part of that whole thing, I made it a point to write this in, is there's a dude who's just standing there because he was in the middle of lighting a cigarette,
Uh-huh.
and he's got like a cigarette in his mouth, and he's got a bowl of something
Yeah.
in his hand, and he just stands there motionless while all this shit rips
Just
loose around
watching.
him.
Yeah.
And then he's dealt with at the end. But I'm just like, I mean, what do? You're in your underwear, you got your Cheerios, you got a cigarette in your mouth, you got no weapons. This is happening. Just let's see how this plays out.
Yeah, I just back up against the wall and go, all right, well, see what's going to happen. Okay, so finally they end up in another room with another Ben in it. And this is the owner Ben.
I called him
King.
Yep, I called him Real Ben.
Real Ben. Yeah, I called him Ben King because he keeps talking about how he's the king.
Yeah.
And there are like lots of clones and those like cylindrical clear pod things in this adjacent room. And Ben gives his villain speech about how, this place does so much good for people and
yeah.
Okay. And then he talks about how his wife is crazy. And then Sarah King comes out and just starts unloading on them and completely misses them.
Yep, not a single shot.
Not even close.
Not even like, pew, tough the clothing. Just
yeah. But she comes out like a straight Harley Quinn psychopath.
Yep.
And nothing. And then our Sarah kills her, just shoots her.
Puts a one right in the head. Done.
At this point, Ben King is like, "Ope," and tries to say that Ope is a northern United States saying, Midwestern, mostly Wisconsin, and Ope is just like, "Oops," or well, that's how it is. In case anyone doesn't know what Ope means.
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
So he tries to bargain, saying he'll cut them into the business, yada, yada, yada. They can hear the goons banging on the doors.
Yeah.
And Ben King is like, you guys are going to need me to get out alive because they're going to come through any second. And then they kill Ben King.
Yeah.
And they sort of resign themselves to their fate, like, but at least we killed these guys. They're hugging. And Sarah looks at the dead 2 on the floor and she's like, I have an idea. So when the goons bust in, our Ben and Sarah are dressed up like the kings.
Yes.
And they get away with it.
Yes.
Clean up this mess. And they start walking out. And someone says, oh, wait, this Ben is alive. This clone's alive.
The male is alive.
Mm-hmm. And our Ben goes, you know what to do with it.
Well, he's like, harvest the woman. You know what to do with the other one.
Yeah. So then we see Ben King waking up in the forest.
Yep.
Apparently in a cheaper version of the game, right? Because he's a leftover.
Probably.
It seems like in All Out, there's gunfire everywhere. It seems like it's just like a standard, like hunt kind of situation.
Yeah.
Where they put damaged clones or something.
Well, I think where I don't know what to call them, the people who are like Sean was into this shit. I mean, he's into this elaborate thing, fake, a car breaking down, this whole process. That's why he's here.
But
And then
I
we
get the
kind of,
sense that the game that Ben King gets put in is more of a free for all.
yeah, they're just like, ooh, let's go shoot something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not at all. It's like, playing any number of video
A
games.
fish in a barrel.
Kind of, yeah. Just no strategy, nothing. That's just boom, 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 woohoo.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So he gets it. I believe it is that one hillbilly that wanted to eat a Ben before.
No, these are two different.
They're
No,
two different?
It was a woman and a man.
Yeah.
It's like his mother.
Yeah.
Because, yeah. It was even more unsettling than those guys, though.
Like, you're gonna fuck these things. And then we see the clone Ben and Sarah, our Ben and Sarah, leaving the experience building.
Yeah.
And entering the futuristic looking city that is.
Yeah, they're looking off in the distance a little bit, and there's a futuristic city, things flying around, and yeah. A drone comes up and welcomes them as Mr. and Mrs. King.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy your stay. There we are.
And I believe Sarah at that point says, it's good to be the king.
Yeah.
The end.
The end. Fade out.
All right.
All right.
Let's talk about it.
So much to talk about.
So many things to talk about here.
So many.
Yes. So first, the choreography and action sequences I think we should address, because we glazed over them in our sort of beat by beat rundown.
Yes.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But they were excellent.
I mean, they were. I had a few details in mind, but you were doing that part.
Oh, sure.
But not extensive. I mean, because you can't really caption action.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like we kind of did like an abbreviated run through, but there's so much action we didn't go beat by beat with it, but yeah, there's a lot going on. I'm
going to say arguably oop, I bumped my mic. I'm so sorry. That a hefty portion of the budget probably went to the choreography and action sequences and shooting them.
Yes.
Because that had to be grueling, especially doing it in 18 days. And they felt this is what I liked about them. They felt very reminiscent of the classic 80s action flicks, right?
Yes.
That you could get the Jean-Claude Van Damme, those kind of films.
Yes.
And I mean, they're good.
Well,
they're fun.
And we've had, so, and I apologize up front because we still don't know if it's Hannah Hanaj.
Yeah.
But she had with I Am Rage a
lot of choreography
and training and stuff. And that one had some, but it wouldn't qualify as an action film, which is why he did
it was kind of a crossover horror with action.
Yeah. This one, I mean, yeah, all the time up front, it costs money to pay someone to train people how to make a fight scene.
As it should.
And to choreograph the fight scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're shooting the fight scene. There's angles, there's different shots, there's take after take after take and reset and everything. And everyone has to remember where they are in the process and stuff. I've always marveled, even as a kid, I know this shit's fake because I grew up street fighting, it's not how it looks. And it's
a lot less exciting looking.
It gets far deadlier, far quicker, and that doesn't make for good storytelling.
Right.
So, the superheroes, I mean, even back with like the Lone Ranger when he's punching it out, I'd go see the weeklies at the theater and stuff, and just, oh man. But I would be like, wow, that's gotta like take some practice,
Well, I mean, it is somewhat like choreographing a dance.
It's exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had talked about what makes this work as an action film. I kind of want to just throw this out. We'll probably come back around on it. What makes this work as an action film is there's really no time to breathe.
No.
And there's not a lot of story. And it's like a really good horror film and a really good action film don't need a lot of story. right? There were multiple points in here, like the bit where Sarah's like, oh, my life is just all a, construct and it's not real. That could have been a whole 5 minute, going on about all kinds of
Oh, sure.
existential
I mean,
shit.
you
And
could, if you wanted to take it a different direction, you could really delve into the sort of existential
mhm,
issues that arise from the base of the story that this has, right?
right.
They're clones, it's a vacation experience, there's a lot you could dive into there. But an action film is not where you do that.
No, and that's not the story. The story is this couple
Hmm.
having a thing, only to find out that they are the thing
Right.
in a bad place.
And then the story becomes survive.
Yeah, and that's all you need. But this brought a nice little feeling of, like I said, good action,
Hmm.
where I'm not bogged down by story. I don't need to pay attention to too many details because none of it's going to go anywhere.
Right.
I want to see how they're going to make it. I want to see the bad guy get his.
Yeah.
I want to see the bad Ben and Sarah get theirs, maybe at some point, right?
Right.
You're hoping for that. It's, along this. It's like, well, if they're clones, they got to come from someone. And there's a lot of so many movies I'm gonna address. But before I do that, I think I'll let you talk about something.
The sheer cojones of the Ben and Sarah King building their empire on clones of themselves
Right?
that people get to kill over and over again seems like it sets a dangerous precedent.
Well, and it's not the first film this kind of thing has happened.
Right.
Right. But it's no less of a dangerous precedent. So if you're looking for like education factors not having to do with filmmaking on these folks, if you're going to begin some sort of amusement park that you can hunt people,
Hmm.
don't make clones of yourself.
Right.
Find someone else.
Folly is what that is. Hubris.
Yes, because, well, they might come and get you and then live your life, which will be over.
Yeah.
So, don't do it.
With this, being an action film as it is even complete with the cheesy one-liners that I love
Yes.
so much.
Yes. That is part of it. And that's what made it feel really,
Fun.
yeah, fun, familiar.
Yeah.
He nailed the formula down to the T,
Hmm.
with the silly one-liners and, what a dick.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, 'cause yeah, okay, got
Yeah.
it. They're very welcome,
They
you
are.
know. And we were talking about, like the absence of story and stuff. You had to have those little elements in there, the
Mhm.
one-liners and stuff, some cheesy stuff. And when we were talking, I compared it to Indiana Jones. People
Right.
think Indiana Jones is a great action film, and it's not. It's an action adventure.
Yes.
So the adventure should be first because that's what it's all about. It's
Right.
this adventure. And then there's a little action in there. Um, we're not on an adventure. We're trying
No.
to figure out what the fuck is wrong with this dude.
Yeah.
Because he is really creepy.
He is so
And
creepy.
why is he talking to them like that? And then all of a sudden shit starts to kick off. And what
Well,
is
that's
wrong
the
with
other
this
thing that I
dude?
like is, his initial conversations with them are weird, right?
Yeah.
When you don't know what's going on, it's off-putting.
Yeah.
But I like how it doesn't shy around it. It doesn't feel like it's a, sudden bait and switch. When you figure out what's going on, you're like, oh, I see what's happening here. Right?
Yeah.
Now his comments make sense.
Yeah. And, and that's fine. That's part of storytelling.
Hmm.
Bring it all around. Another thing I'd mention is, this is a good action film because at no point once shit kicks off do you feel like this is where I can go to the bathroom. Like if you're at the theater,
Right.
because that's really what it's all about sometimes.
Yeah.
You just, no matter how much you plan, you got that big thing of popcorn, you got that big thing of, soda or whatever. Sometimes fate's not on your side, especially with these 800-hour fucking superhero films. You gotta have to go.
I know.
And it's like, I'm gonna wait. And remember we found that app? I don't even know if they still have it.
Oh, like Ren P.
Yeah, where what, so many minutes into the film, this is where you go pee and this is what you'll miss. Just some, incidental dialogue and stuff. This one, once it kicks off, you just don't feel safe. I think the most is like 45 seconds and you're like, oh, maybe. Oh, nope. Okay, guess not. Because it's just going. And that's what made it easy to run through so quickly.
Yeah.
It's because there just is a lot of action. So it's not disappointing in that respect.
No.
It's just different, or difficult, like I said, to caption and narrate without, sounding like some sort of novelization.
Right.
Heavy on the details, please. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I know that this film went through a lot of iterations of will it, won't it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad that David got to do it because he kept the flavor of the original script that we got from him.
Yes.
And that there wasn't a whole lot changed. And I feel like if it had been done by somebody else, there would have been some stuff. I can't predict what would have happened, but it would have been different.
I thought about that while watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the drone shots and everything. It's also David.
Yeah.
This whole thing sings out David. And yes, he, I Am Rage is kind of that crossover into the action.
Yeah.
It's still horror, but then it's, a little more weird, not so much gore.
Right.
Right. In terms of the horror. And then there's some action and stuff. And he did that really well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was watching thinking if this had been in somebody else's hands, how would this have tracked? Would I have liked this? Because that happens. There are people who write brilliant scripts, right? And fucking everyone loves them. And then they get handed off to somebody and the film product is not good at all. And, in every film.
There's no carryover of vision.
No. And with indie film, it's a little different because most indie filmmakers write their own shit and then make it. Mm-hmm. They don't write it and sell it, or they don't sit around and wait for somebody to come up with a script and be like, oh yeah, I'll make this. That's studio stuff. Right.
Right.
But what bugs me about the studio stuff is most of these motherfuckers should not be allowed to write at all. Right. Everyone's like, J.J. Abrams, he wrote for Lost. I thought Lost sucked ass so much
it did.
That I wanted it to become like a physical entity so I could pound on it.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
It was garbage.
So when you tell me he wrote on it, that doesn't help. That does not help.
It's
right?
not an endorsement.
His reboot of the Star Trek universe, right? It was a fun film, but there was so many things about it I bitched about when it first came out. And it's not from a Star Trek fan's perspective. It's like, this just doesn't make sense. It seems like this is happening so that you could do your special effects thing.
Right.
Right? You made this part up so you could do this and go, woohoo, look at me. I hate that. I hate that. And like
the Michael Bay situation.
I mean, yeah, and Michael Bay's like, well, we got to blow a bunch of shit up. What are we going to blow up? How about we blow up the Transformers? Okay. What are they going to do? Doesn't really matter. We're just going to blow them up.
Right.
That's what we need to do. So, but if this had gotten someone else's hands, I don't know if I would have enjoyed it. It's hard to say,
Yeah. I'm trying to think in terms of what you can carry forward and bring into filmmaking.
Well, one of the things we talked about was the effects.
Sure.
Right? They're not super high dollar because this is in a multi-million-dollar budget.
Right. They're like indie level, I think they're better than Asylum level, but they're in that.
Yeah, Asylum's its own thing.
Sort of realm.
They're sort of like an indie studio hybrid weird thing, how they make their existence. But gunshots. So we were talking about when the bullets hit, there's that, the blood squirts and stuff. Well, that's digital.
Yes.
And we had talked a long time ago, and I still can't remember what the film was that we were talking about. where it worked. It worked. The effects were a little cheesy because it looks like they didn't have a whole lot of money to buy those effects. But there were no blanks in the guns,
Right.
right? And that was the other thing is the guns didn't look like they were actually being fired. So what we were talking about, these today, there's no need for an armorer on a movie managing ordnance, bullets.
Because you don't need them.
You don't need them. You can jack up a gun so that it has a hard kick. You know, it's just like a toy gun, right? There's not even a firing mechanism in it, where, you know, it's just got a spring in it, so it gives that kick, right? Don't leave it to the actor to figure out what caliber they're firing. You know, give them the kick.
Yeah. Right? Our replica guns, our pirate replica guns, right?
Yeah.
They were expensive. They're like full-on replicas, but they're not active firearms.
Right. Yeah. No.
But when you pull the trigger, it does have the mechanism where the, flint starter jumps forward, hits the thing, right, where it's supposed to cause a spark, but there isn't actually flint on it.
Right.
And it does have a little bit of a kick.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's all you need these days. Because we're talking about in the Baldwin film, that death would have never happened. Right. And we haven't needed this for a long time.
No.
There's so many people who would still be with us if it weren't for some fuck up, right, of a blank shooting a projectile or an actual bullet getting in there instead of a blank. They just aren't necessary. They just aren't necessary. And the whole thing with the blood, the digital we talked about, even like squibs, right? They're pretty innocuous at this point, but they can be dangerous.
Yeah.
There's, people who've, broken ribs, have gotten bruises because of like just a hair too much, gunpowder in there to, blow the thing out. There's so many things you can do with editing and the digital side. And I know you want me to say this, someone gets shot, you cut, you change the shirt, you attach a little blood sack in there.
Blood sack.
And have it ooze out. That's what editing is all about.
Yeah.
Right. I'm still very sour on CGI in terms of its overuse, but these are the things to me it was meant for.
It makes filming safer. When it makes filming safer,
yes,
that is the way to do it.
Yes.
If you're doing it to jump up like an alien-looking species, or so that an actor doesn't have to be if you're doing it so an actor doesn't have to be in a chair for 8 hours doing makeup, and then not be able to like go to the bathroom for another 8 hours. That's a good reason to use CGI if you're making the set safer. Right?
You're talking about Stellan Skarsgård?
I am talking about Stellan Skarsgård.
In his Baron Harkonnen situation. Yeah. Couldn't go to the bathroom.
Poor guy.
Take him over an hour to just get my genitals exposed.
Stellan Skarsgård has a voice. I don't mean to go off on a tangent, but he has a voice where I would pay him to yell at me for like a minute solid.
Mm-hmm. Well, the first stick out movie with him, and I'm continuing your tangent,
sure,
is Ronin.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And he's very young in that comparatively. And his voice is the same from then to now. You know what I mean?
It's a great voice for yelling.
Awesome voice. Yes.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to this. It's not just the gunfire, because you can get muzzle flashes and stuff. You get the right practical prop, it'll give a little kick, right? You just, 10 minutes, a couple days a week training with the actors and, how to handle the physical part of it.
Yeah.
Right. And then you just have your effects guy matching up the muzzle flash and stuff. And if a bullet's going to hit, you can get the digital blood splatter, the blood stream. You can get the where it looks like it hit and something,
Yeah.
But you don't have to have anything practical on the costume or whatever it is. All of these things. And then you can move right into practical. The one thing I will say is don't digitize blood on somebody. Right. So when the first Sarah's running through the field, it's practical, right? It's blood and she's got the makeup and the stuff. And you need that because at indie level, the digital isn't good enough.
Right.
Just isn't good enough. And I say that because in most of the studio high budget level stuff, it still isn't great when they went to digital to try and save a buck. You can just tell.
Mm-hmm.
And that just like pulls me right out. Whew.
Yeah.
We came all this way, and the guy punches you in the face, and you couldn't even get someone to put a fucking cut on his cheek. You didn't have any makeup artists? I mean, come on.
I know.
You digitized it, and then it doesn't look right. The color's always shifting. Anyway, not gonna pick on a particular film, but yeah.
But in this one, the CGI is used intelligently, obviously for safety reasons, but to also get the effects that they wanted.
Yeah, like, well, David blowing his son up in the
Yeah.
in the woods.
When the child dies.
Yeah. The amount of people you would need to have on hand for a contained explosion. And there were, some. I mean, it's cheaper and it's just far safer.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're doing it like offset and like Star Wars, the explosions were on foam mini sets and stuff, way off of the production. None of the actors were even near it. However, the people involved with it have to deal with it. You have to have an explosives coordinator. You have to have, there's all these rules and things you need to do where you can purchase these explosions, right? There's so many out there,
mm-hmm.
and you can manipulate them, and you can do things digitally, and you are affecting nobody. You don't need permits. You don't need to worry about damage to, like, in the woods,
Right.
So is this like a public woods? Is it, part of it, a restorative project kind of thing? You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't need to damage anything.
No.
It's just all right there. But on screen, it's like, oh, damn.
Yeah. Just explosions everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's a good lesson to take forward. And don't worry about, the level of effect as long as it's appropriate for the film that you're making.
Right.
Right? You can't expect tentpole level effects in an indie budget film.
On your $1,500 budget.
That's just not going to happen.
No. And even with this kind of money, $250,000, that's a lot.
It is.
It's a lot. And it's funny because we've covered some films that were literally no budget.
Yes.
Zero budget, just a camcorder and some folks who volunteered. And as you go up, like, a few $100 here, the finished product exponentially, almost disproportionately comes out better.
Yes.
Right? So this is $250,000. This was really, really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Attack of the Herbals was not $250,000.
What?
But, and it wasn't horrible.
No.
But you can tell where it fits in the bracket. But then that's not that far from the super low budget stuff, which isn't that far from the no budget stuff. It's just funny to me how a few dollars, if you know what you're doing, can really dramatically improve the quality of the finished product.
Right. As long as you're using your budget intelligently.
Right. And you know what you're doing. Like, if you're going to spend this chunk, which is disproportionate to the rest of the expenditures, and you're like, but we need this.
Mm-hmm.
If you just spend it on it and you really don't know how to go the full yardage with it, then you just spent a lot of money on something that's going to look cheesy, or worse, get cut.
Right.
It's like, oh my God, didn't think that one through. I just thought it would have been cool.
Right.
And it would have been, but it's not. So it's got to go. Yeah. And we're never getting that money back. It's done.
And there might have been some stunts in this film that, that happened with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know they did the rigging with Hannah.
Yes. Yeah, and I like that,
mm-hmm.
but I also know there's probably minimum 5, upwards of 10 or 15 takes, probably,
mm-hmm.
just from having seen it done. Stunt work is never super smooth.
Oh no.
I mean, there's those things like, I can't think of what it was. It was, yeah, it's just escaping me.
Okay.
Um, it was a movie about a stunt man, and he's going to do this one stunt, and it was like a one take thing, and he's just trying to make his comeback and shit. Um, and it was like a big one of those brick like smoke towers,
Okay.
super high, and the whole thing wasn't going to blast it. It's going to fall down across the road, and he's supposed to drive through and just be missed.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, it's one and done. We can't, because it's a real smokestack.
Right. You can't.
And this is back in the 80s.
Falling again.
Right. Yeah. And that whole thing where they did it. And it's funny because that's what the movie was about. But the reality was that also was what the stunt people had to deal with. It's like, we only got one shot for this. So it's real in the movie and it's real in real life. And it worked. Boom. You gotta love that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times it doesn't. There's always a slip. There's always a wire. It doesn't land right. And it takes a lot of practice. And even with the practice, it's not always the same outcome.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of respect for going through that. And I can see where all of this has added up to this being a terribly unpleasant shooting experience, because with 18 days, right, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And every time something doesn't work, that's time you need to spend on it to make it right. That's being taken away from this thing.
Mm-hmm.
That fingers crossed it'll go right the first time and we can just move on, But digitize your stuff. Don't worry about how it looks. Make that your goal to make it look better next time.
Yeah.
Right? We've seen some...
You're going to learn.
Yeah.
As you go.
Yeah, we've seen some serial films where it went from, you could tell this is just like an overlay, like Birdemic level bad.
Or Velocipaster.
Yeah, overlay. And then you can see where, this next one they've worked on shading.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, so they're working on texturing. Now they're understanding how to make this look like it fits in the scene.
Right.
Right? That's beautiful. That's growth. That's expanding your skills. Whatever it is your part, if you're the director and you're doing it all in one, or if you're an effects guy and, you're like, whew, this looks pretty good, actually. That's what all this shit is about. It's not coming in being fucking top dog.
No.
It's learning, growing, evolving till you get to that point where you can make that thing, right? That is your dream. So from the technical side, really good. Just pay attention and see how you can use all this stuff instead of wiring people up for squibs, hiring all those people and that crew to oversee that whole process, and then having the added burden of worrying about your actors.
Right.
Is somebody going to get hurt with this? Story-wise, there are so many things in here that haven't been elaborated on, which to me is almost like an homage. The whole concept of a clone. How much of a clone, or how much of a human is a clone? I mean, a clone is a word that we describe on how its origin came about. They didn't go into how they're made.
Right.
Right? Are they born from, are they, super like superhero level raised up from embryos? Or is it just they grow a whole full-size human? There's Blade Runner, replicants.
Yeah.
Right? Not really clones. They're manufactured. But still, memories. Are these yours? How much do you have? How do they help you?
How human are you?
Yeah. The Island.
That's a great movie.
The clones that are kept for medical parts.
Yeah.
Right? And they keep them at a
docile.
Elementary school level, right? Like 10, 11, mentally. There's just so much about what makes a clone, and to a lesser extent, multiplicity with Michael Keaton, where he gets cloned because he's got so much to do. And it's a comedy, right? So he goes and he does this cloning thing, and he takes his clone back so that his clone can go to work and he can stay home and get all stuff around the house. And the clone's busy, so the clone gets cloned.
Right.
Or no. The clone gets lonely. He gets cloned again. And then the two clones get together and they're like, well, what would happen if you make like a clone of a clone? And he's like, it's kind, it's kind of like making a Xerox of a Xerox. It's not quite as sharp as the original.
Right.
And then out comes, right? All the way into Star Wars with the whole Clone Wars and the cloning thing. And there's just so many more movies. The concept of if you have a clone, a Westworld, the robots, right?
Yeah.
They're effectively robots going through these scenarios over and over and over again, wiping the memory. Do the ones and zeros like start to reform?
Right. Because, I mean, there was a little bit of that explored in there with Sarah recognizing Sean.
Yes.
Right.
So,
multiple times.
And where does that come from? Is it something, I don't want to say at a supernatural level, but is it something about the clones, like the whole experience of them all, kind of out there thing? Or is it just that Sarah King met this dude?
Or is it they are creating clones from the remains?
Right?
Right?
Yeah.
Is it a cellular memory?
Yeah. And where does that come from? Because, technically, if you could, first of all, cloning, we're not even close to any of this. We take an animal, we inject it with a gene or some DNA, right? And help to manipulate. So that thing is like, I don't know what, 85% that DNA.
Right.
But it's not an actual clone. It's not an exact replica of whatever it was. We are nowhere near that.
No.
And it's always the thing is, well, do you grow it from an embryo? Right? Because ideally, with the DNA the way it is, if you stick that in a stem cell in an egg, boom, it's going to grow out to be the exact same thing as you, but without the scars and
right.
Or so when it grows like that, there's nothing mentally,
right?
Because you're growing it to full size. It hasn't had any experience or education. So do you have to train it like in the island?
Right.
Right. They go from like kindergarten up.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing around all of these is they have to have some kind of memory or shit goes bad.
Yes. There needs to be something in there.
Or they just die. And I thought about that with the whole, every Ben and Sarah's in an RV on their honeymoon. There's that whole story, which you don't really need to just drop them. You can drop them buck naked in the woods and tell your customers, all right, go get them.
Yeah.
And it's just, they'll shoot them and leave. Like that end bit seemed more like that than what Sean was interested in was the hunt and the sadistic fucking shit.
The game.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the, there's enough of it here to, after watching it, want to have that conversation with
trigger a discussion.
Yeah, like if we did a group view with you and I and Jeff and Cliff and even David and stuff and Marty and I'm
like, okay, let's talk about clones and morality and
so what do you think's going on there and stuff? And we don't even need to know what David wanted to get forward.
No, the point is that there is a discussion.
Yeah, and I think that is again the goal of any filmmaker is maybe they won't get it, but as long as there's a good discussion.
It is nice, and I think this is a good tip. Leave some questions open-ended. Right?
Yes.
For people to talk about. That's how you get people to remember your movie.
Yeah.
Because they might not even remember the movie itself. They remember talking about it.
Right.
Right? And that helps cement it in their memory, and that makes them remember you and remember the actors and remember the story and remember who did it and the experience of watching it.
X degrees of separation. The thing that they talked about will trigger a memory, sometime down the road. Like, oh, we talked about this and this. And what movie was that? Oh, it was this movie.
Like 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon that I was just playing with Lily.
Yeah. Oh my God. Anyway. So yeah, the whole clone thing and the questions that it raised and the things that he touched on, I think were really well done.
Yeah.
Really good. And nice. What was nice is that it was in the original script, right?
Yes.
So it's nice to see that stayed in and somehow didn't get, molded out. Uh, the acting was great. The scoring was great.
Yeah.
Um,
The
the
guy who played Ben, Matt Wood, I believe. Gosh, I don't have my sheet up right now. I think he did an exceptional job.
yes,
And I also want to talk a little bit about both of the actors, Hannah and Matt. Um, God, I hope that's right. Uh, playing themselves multiple times over and getting killed several times, like during the filming, and how
right.
interesting that is, because it did make me think a little bit of Orphan Black,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where she's playing herself multiple times, but they were playing the same version of themselves, essentially,
Basically,
over and over.
but I'm glad you brought that up.
Hmm.
Kudos to them both because that was an exceptional job where each time we saw one of them or both of them, the different next iteration, it wasn't exactly the same
Right.
because you get the impression that some of these hunters, right,
Have
made
different settings.
their Ben and Sarah's just dumb as shit because
Hmm.
they just can't be bothered with, and some like Sean would have made him a little more and he was pissed off that he made her so stupid or Ben so stupid
Yeah.
because, he's like, learned my lesson. This is boring. Um, and then each situation was different too. So it wasn't like seeing that Ben died the same way,
Right.
doing the same things, making the same face. It was different every time. And Sarah, especially, each one that we went through, we get to our fourth one and finally, oh, we got a sticker here,
Yeah.
Um, but it seemed like they were at different levels as well,
Hmm.
but nobody was at a fight back level.
Right.
Right. Um, but yeah, not just playing different, like, Tatiana Maslany,
It's playing different characters
different
who all look like
characters.
her.
Yes.
Right.
And had to play the different personality, which is a little bit more to work with than you're a clone,
Hmm.
but be less clone like a little bit, but not too much.
Right. Be
You
a
know?
little stupider. Right.
Yeah. Um, and Hannah was so good at having, she can have a really soft face with like the soft eyes.
Hmm.
And then she can just be like, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
That rigid jawline and then the eyes that are like, yeah, you know what's coming.
Yeah.
Pain. You know, those transitions. And the same with Ben.
Hmm.
He was very, I don't know what's fucking going on. And,
Yeah.
and then he, hits that slider and you're like, he knows.
Yeah.
He's got this.
He knows.
And that's a huge thing to do visually,
It is.
So yeah, good that you brought that up.
Thank you.
Oh, so overall, it is a cornucopia of lessons. If you have the money, spend it wisely. If you're going to do an action, take the time to make the action scenes work, and don't get bogged down by story because nobody wants to watch an action film that's an hour and 90 minutes with an hour and 10 minutes of fucking story. Right?
Yeah.
Kick the shit off and keep it going. And this is a fantastically paced thing.
Yes.
Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Like I said, doesn't make you feel safe going to the bathroom.
Right.
Without hitting the pause button. Music. And I will say the coloring, because I know that's David's biggest thing.
So lovely.
Beautiful. It fits everywhere along, the whatever's going on. Have your actors, and if you're doing action, please, 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 please. And I bring this up because I know when we talked to Failure Boys Productions, they did their own stuff.
Yes.
And they even made a comment on the show. Maybe we should have spent some time training for this because we really just threw her through a closet door.
Yes.
And I mean, it's indie film. These kinds of things happen and people will do it and they'll be like, I'm all for it. And that's great. But, if it's your film, you're responsible.
Yeah.
And and I'm not criticizing them at all. But we're at a point now where if you're listening and you haven't done it, don't do it.
Yeah.
Take the time, get the training, safety, 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 safety.
What has happened in the past has happened.
Yes.
It cannot be undone.
It cannot.
But we can do better.
We can. We can. And I mean, there's moments of desperation. I get it. I want to make this film. I don't have the money for this. I can't afford to train somebody to do this and do that.
Or even I can't afford a dummy to throw it, through a window.
Yeah.
Well, then figure out a way to not have someone potentially get hurt.
I mean, that's
or
kind of it.
Scrap it.
Yeah. But yeah, train your folks for action, and just, if you're writing it, trying to figure out if it works, you can tell by reading it, right? If you can tell what's going on through the whole thing, through the dialogue, then there's too much of it.
Yeah.
All right. A lot of these are going to be, action lines and just all kinds of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just, do it. Keep it consistent. Don't overcomplicate the story. Action is fun. Action is action. Throw a little humor in it. Depends on what kind you want. James Bond level. Well, even he has cheesy shit. Ian Fleming had all manner of weird ass one-liners, and
oh yeah,
that's it. I think great movie.
Yeah,
a lot of good lessons for the writing. The direction. Focus on the action. Don't get lost on the other stuff. Art film is to be spent on other things.
Yes,
that kind of thing, right?
So check out David's other stuff. You can go to Clear Focus Movies to check out his stuff. His YouTube channel. He's got a Patreon.
Yes.
He has made tons of stuff, and it's all very solid, very good stuff.
Yes, and it's worth it.
It
and
is.
We've covered about all of it. I think there's one that we haven't.
I don't know. We'll have to look.
We did the ghosts. We did herbals. Did the redwoods. I Am Rage. Obviously this one. But anyway, yeah, check him out.
And while you're on the internet, check out our website.
lordsofmisruleproductions.com.
We got it all there. We got past episodes. We got way past episodes. We got
all the episodes.
Info about projects we're working on. We got links to our socials, to YouTube, to Patreon. Go, hey, we have a Patreon, and we'd love for you to support us to help pay for the costs of making this show, because we don't make any money on it.
Yeah.
So, for a cup of coffee, the cost of a cup of coffee per month, you could help us out, really help us.
Yeah.
Also, links to our email address where you can reach out to us directly and suggest films.
Info at lordsofmisruleproductions.com.
Yep.
Or go to the website and just click the thing. Yeah. Let us know who you are, what you've got, what you've made, or what you were involved in.
Yeah.
In any level, right? And, or if you just happen to know something with a cool story behind it.
We love the weird deep pull stuff. That's our bread and butter, baby.
Yeah, it is. Yep. Make us dig deep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think that about wraps it up.
Yeah. So until next episode, B-siders, do your things. Grab what you can for lessons and make your stuff. Until then,
this is Danny.
And this is Jim.
We'll catch you later.
Bye.